So Jamie and I met when the Trailblazers were here in Salt Lake City, and she was also there when I accidentally kicked Damian Lillard in the shin. So thank you for not holding that against me.
You're welcome. That happens. Like, it's always scary. Like, especially if you have a microphone in their face and then they like go to bend down. You're like, oh God, I'm gonna hit you.
What's up, guys? Amanda Smith here with NBC Sports Northwest host and reporter Jamie Hudson. It's so great to see you again. Thank you for making time for me today.
Oh yeah, thanks for having me, Amanda. I'm excited.
So this season you moved into a new role with the network, working as the Trailblazers reporter. How would you describe what the transition has been like for you?
Oh, it's been exciting. I was covering college football before this. I was doing a lot of behind the scenes stuff, whether it was production, being a stage manager, counting people in on camera, like, hey, we're about to come back from break in 5, 4. So I've done a lot of different TV roles, and this one's special to me because I am very passionate about basketball and I love covering the NBA. So now to put all my focus on the Trailblazers has been really fun. And the season, man, it's a grind, but it's great to now be around the players every day. And I go to about half the road games, so I'm glad I got to go to Utah on Christmas Day and meet you.
That was fun.
That was great. So it's nice. Like, all the home games, half the road games, I switched out with the other reporter here, and so it's been great. The transition's been nice. I've been working for this network now for 7 years total. So this is the first year, though, that I'm truly just a Trailblazers reporter, and I'm really enjoying it.
How did that sort of come about then?
Yeah, so I voiced my opinion of, hey, eventually, if something ever opens up, or if I could get the opportunity, I really do want to be an NBA reporter. So my boss always knew what my aspirations were, and so by taking their feedback, whether it was reporting on the Oregon Ducks, like a 90-second video, and they would critique what I did right, what I did wrong, and I would fix that, and then being around the Blazers, because I would still go to their practice every once in a while the last 2 seasons. They saw, like, hey, okay, this girl maybe does know what she's talking about as far as basketball goes. And so I had to prove myself, but that's like in any job, you have to do that, and you kind of have to get your foot in the door any way you can. And I always think that being someone behind the camera really helped me, because I got to work with some veteran hosts that would, tell me, hey, so think about this when you're doing a report, or they were really helpful. So I tried to like be a sponge and soak it all in when I was around someone that I knew had been in the industry for years. And then taking the feedback, at first it was hard. There were sometimes I was like, okay, I thought I did really well on that piece or whatever. But making sure you listen and then actually try and take that feedback and put it into place.
To be in those sort of roles where, you maybe are behind the camera, working in a production role, for young broadcasters that might be watching, how important do you think it is to make sure that your boss or someone in charge knows your goals and aspirations while you're also in that position?
Oh, I think it's so important. I mean, there's a lot of people that never want to be on camera, and that's totally fine too. So making sure, though, that your boss knows, like, oh, yes, I'm enjoying this role that I'm in currently, but here's where I want to be in 5 years or whatever. You have to voice that, because they could think, oh, well, she's a great stage manager. She loves that position. They might never know, and then you won't get your chance, So I think it's so important.
And you had mentioned the road schedule, how you go to half the road games. In addition to your on-camera work, you write for the network website, you host a podcast. What would you say you've learned about balance?
Oh, that is like the best question, Amanda. It's as it's hard. I like to think of it as, in season, it's just go, go, go. And you have to realize that it's normal to work 6, 7 days a week, and that's okay, because you're going to get your break. It's almost like the reporters are, I mean, we're not out there playing, so I will not say that I'm running up and down the court, but it's really interesting when you're in season versus the off season. Yes, you're still on the clock and you have to report any kind of breaking news, a trade, or you have to work on NBA draft day or whatever. But during the season, my family and friends know that I'm probably not going to make it to a weekly dinner or whatever. And my mom has come to terms with, okay, I'm very close with my mom, and we used to talk every single day when I went to school, like in college. And now she knows, okay, well, that's not how it is anymore. And she understands. And then, of course, I wasn't at home on Christmas, which was my first Christmas that I wasn't with my family this year. So that was a big deal. But everyone understands how it is, and they're proud of me. So it's okay. And my husband works in the industry, so he gets it too. I think that's very important. It's okay if your significant other doesn't, but it is really nice to have that same crazy schedule. And so we both understand, like, okay, this is just our busy time.
Yeah, he's just as busy as you are. So you're like, I'll talk to you later.
Yeah.
So,
exactly. Yes.
Let's play a quick little game. It's just going to be a fill in the blank. So if I made the pregame playlist, blank would be playing. Like genre or specific song.
Okay.
Flexible here on the Amanda Smith Show.
See, I'm like Carrie Underwood gets me going. So it's a little different of a playlist. So that would probably be hard. I mean, you could still play Carrie Underwood, right? No.
I mean, definitely. I feel like it's a little hype sometimes. You know, she wants to slash people's tires.
Exactly.
Okay, when I'm not working, you can find me.
At a sand volleyball court.
Blank and me versus Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum in 2-on-2.
Ooh. See, I'm a little bit shorter, so I'm gonna need some height, and I would take.
You can't pick me then.
Otherwise, I would, Amanda. I want someone scrappy. Well, maybe I'd want like Rasheed Wallace. This is like a outdoor court, right?
Yeah. This is like pick up.
Okay, yeah. Rasheed, yeah.
I'll be sure to reach out to him and set up this.
Thank you.
Game. You're welcome.
Great.
My favorite arena besides the Moda Center is?
I mean, Staples Center is pretty cool, but I feel like everyone picks that. I gotta give it up to the Jazz, though. Your fans there, it was pretty rocking. It's funny because I have this, two different ideas. Like, I like the atmosphere, or, the Wi-Fi was good for when I was like working, right?
Yes.
So it's kind of hard. Like, I rank it in different ways, you know?
That's where we're at in 2019. True. Which arena has the better Wi-Fi? One of my favorite memories in my career thus far has been.
I got to cover the NBA All-Star Weekend festivities. It was 3 years ago now, 2015. CJ McCollum was in the three-point shooting contest, and I got to kind of follow him around and see what the experience was like. It was in New Orleans, so I might be getting my dates wrong, what year it was, but the New Orleans NBA All-Star Weekend. And it was so cool. There were so many media members there. I couldn't believe it. I mean, globally, not just nationally. And I thought that was cool. And New Orleans knows how to do it. Like, that was like a party scene. Everyone was happy. Like, the All-Star Weekend was very cool. And I had never been to New Orleans either, so that was probably one of my coolest experiences. And then covering the playoffs is always so fun.
Fan questions. Let's do this.
Yeah.
Brandon C. Smith 5 says, in regards to reporters, he's always been curious. Do you get to ask your own questions, or do your producers tell you what to ask?
I thought that was an awesome question. That was on Twitter, right?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a great question. So for me personally, I get to ask all my own questions, but I also have a producer that I can go to bounce ideas off of, because sometimes there's either ideas that he would like me to write about, and he's like, oh, so you need to ask this and this, or I'm asking him like, well, how should I go about talking about this topic or whatever. But typically I'm kind of changing his questions to kind of flow better with the team, meaning like I'm around the team more. This just happened actually a couple weeks ago, where my producer was like, oh, well, hey, Zach Collins had the best plus minus off the bench. You should like go into the locker room and talk to all the players like, hey, he had the best plus minus, and like put an emphasis on that. I'm like, well, this Blazers team, they're like not about the plus minus. Like, they're like, no. So I kind of told him like, I want to talk about other aspects of Collins's game versus focusing on the plus minus, because there's been many times when they think, oh, that stat is talked about too much, or there's too much emphasis on that. So it was he was surprised that I said, oh, hold up, I don't think we should go that route. And I, had another idea, and he thought that's great because I'm a person like always around the team and in the locker room. So there is a lot of, talking between the producer and what I'm going to ask, but usually I get to come up with my own questions, and it's like what I'm going to write about for the night.
I'm going to bounce off his question, and I'm going to add a part to it. How important do you think it is to build those sorts of relationships with the players?
So important, especially when you're first starting out, and it's like they want to get a feel of how much do you know the game. If you can kind of show them like, hey, I might not know exactly what your trap game looks like, but I know the ins and outs of a basic basketball game, that will help build the relationships. And then being around them more and being able to have fun. I think sometimes they're not too much fun, but like sometimes there's like this wall of like, oh, this is the reporter, I'm just supposed to be like this and like just answer their questions. So if you try and be like, hey, I'm a real person, you're a real person, like everything's fine.
Yeah, definitely.
That's
like
important.
Just be yourself and like have your personality.
Yes.
At NM Photography says, what is something that drives you to be better every day?
Growing up, I always saw how hard my parents worked. They had me really young. I'm the oldest. And anyway, so I was always so thankful for everything that they would do for me. And I don't have any kids, so I kind of like work is my kid, as weird as that might sound, but I've always put so much into my work. And so thinking about how my work is like my life right now and my passion, that drives me to try and keep growing and keep getting better. So I think the work ethic that my parents instilled in me, I just keep that, and having the support. Everyone here, my coworkers are awesome. They're always trying to make me better, and we're trying to make each other better. So I think having the people around me too has really helped me with that.
And obviously it's working. You got a whole new role this year.
Yes, thanks, Amanda.
So Tab says, did you play any sports growing up?
Yes. So volleyball was my big one. And then I played basketball too. But in basketball, I wish I would, like, if I could go back, I would be so confident because I never was. That was my biggest thing. Like, I could shoot threes for days in practice and make them, but then in the game, I would always be like, I don't know. So if I was confident, like, I could have been so much better. And so I'm always like, that's like my regret. Not being confident.
Fine, because you're going to have a chance in your 2-on-2 game to make it up.
That's right. Yeah. Me and Sheed. Yeah. That's awesome.
Okay. Solly Lowe says, who's your last in and first out for the playoffs in the Western Conference?
Oh, we were just talking about that. I don't think the Lakers are going to make it, even when LeBron comes back. I don't know. I go back and forth on that. That's really tough. LeBron's going to change that. Yeah, I don't think the Clippers are going to be able to hang. The LA teams are like where I'm at right now, questioning them. And I don't know how, looking into April, they can sustain without having some kind of superstar. I mean, yeah, Danilo Gallinari, like great player, but you got to have like that one guy at least, right? So I'll go with Clippers out. So I could see also the Spurs though dropping out because they're what, 7th now.
Yeah.
So I'm debating on who's out, but I do think Utah will make it there for sure. Not just because I'm talking to you, Amanda. Just because like the Blazers have had some trouble with them for sure this season, and Utah has had like the craziest schedule. They've been on the road.
Yeah, and now they're going to be home for this like extended time.
And then last season, that's what they did too. Like they came on late.
I think that this next period and where they are at home will be super important in kind of determining where they'll sit leading up to April. Final question. Steph Martin says, what's your favorite part of your job?
Oh, getting to talk to the players, but also the fans. Fans are so fun to talk to, and even, it's a roller coaster of a season, right? Sometimes they're on a winning streak and the fans are like, hell yeah, look at our team. And then it's like, okay, what's wrong with the team? And because of social media, it's like we get to interact so much, whether it's Twitter or Facebook, and I love that. One of my big things that I started last season before I got this new role was a Facebook live stream. And I got to talk with Blazer fans, instantaneously. They're commenting on the stream. And I thought that is so cool. It's really fun because, I grew up a basketball fan, so I get it. And so getting to interact with both the fans and the players is what I love to do.
Well, I'm glad that you were able to make some time for me today. Thank you again.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you for having me on, Amanda. I'm so glad I got to meet you.
Okay, so are you gonna be back here?
No, I don't get to go on that trip. I know, I'm sad, but we will see each other at some point. Yes.
And then we'll get some coffee.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, for Jamie Hudson, I'm Amanda Smith. We'll see you next time.